Let's uncover the basics of how battling works in Chaos Zero Nightmare. This is the battle screen, so let's take a look at it and talk about what are we looking at here. On the bottom middle of your screen you can see the number 3. This is our AP called action points. Above this number 3 you can see cards. Those are our abilities. And those abilities, they have also a number attached to them. This is the cost that you need to pay in order to play this card. So you can see in our example here, all of our abilities, they would cost 1. This would deduct 1 AP. So again, in this example, we would be able to use 3 of our abilities because we have 3 AP. Every single turn passes, we recover 3 AP via the normal means. Of course, there are some abilities that would allow you to recover more AP, or enemies can inflict debuffs that allow you to recover less AP, but in general it is 3 AP per turn. Alright, then let's look at the top left of our screen, where we can see our 3 characters and an HP bar. Here we have it, and now we are diving into something that makes this game already, let me say special a little bit at least. Because all of our 3 characters, they share 1 HP bar. It is not the case that each and every character has their own HP bar. What that means is that once this 1 HP bar is depleted, you just lose the battle straight away. It is not like that individual characters can die and then you either replace them with another character or the 2 surviving members keep on battling. No, once this HP bar is depleted, you wipe and you lose the battle. The same thing goes for armor. If you look at the right hand side here, you have a little shield with the number 37 attached to it. That means our team has the shared amount of armor of 37. So we also share armor. It is not like that when one character uses a shielding ability that only this character would receive the shield. No, it is always your entire team, this 1 HP bar, that receives the amount of shield that one character would apply. Then on the bottom left here you can see buffs and debuffs, increases attack, decreases things, right? You can click on each buff and debuff to see what exactly is going on there. Those buffs are also shared via the entire team. I think take that one with a little bit of grain of salt though. Alright, now we can see our 3 characters here below the HP bar. They have their own bar attached to them still. What that bar indicates is something we call mental breakdown, so a mental gouge if you want. And this gouge fills every single time an individual character would take damage. So the enemies, they do not always just attack like your entire team, right? If an enemy attacks one individual character, then the entire team loses HP and or armor. That is correct. But depending on which individual character gets attacked, the mental breakdown gouge from this character increases. You can see this here with our middle character, the character that is portrayed in the middle. His mental breakdown gouge is fully filled. That means that he is out of the battle right now. He quote-unquote died, you might say. You can see if you look at our HP bar, there is a little bit, like, let me say, stoned out, right? We can not fill our HP gauge to its maximum anymore. There is a part grayed out, 1/3 in fact is grayed out, and that is because one of our characters is in this mental breakdown state. To recover from this mental breakdown state, you have to play the cards for this character. He will get now different cards or abilities, however you wanna call them, and those cards, of course, as I explained earlier, they have a certain value of AP attached to them. So you would have to play 5 cards, at least that was how it was in the playtest. It might be pretty sure, if I would have to make a prediction, it will be reduced to like 3 cards or something like that. But the point still stands that you have to pay and a certain amount of AP via playing these mental breakdown cards to recover from this mental breakdown state and revive the character, so to speak, so that you can fill up your HP to its maximum again and actually play the character one more time. Alright, now let's continue and look at something else. On the left hand side of your screen you can see a pile of white cards with an arrow that points up and the number 7 attached to it. That is the size of our deck. That means we have 7 cards left in our deck. On the opposite side of your screen you can see a grayed out version with an arrow pointing down that has the number 0 attached to it. That is our discard pile. These two things are actually really important. Not for like every single team, but there are characters and whole teams out there that put a lot of emphasis onto this deck and discard pile. To explain things further, let me give you an example. There are characters that like Kayron, for example, that either deal damage based upon how many of their cards or cards in general are in your discard pile. Then there are other characters like Cassius that can either grab a certain specific card of your choosing out of your deck or out of your discard pile, right? Just to name 2 examples. And with characters like these, it is very important to know that once your deck would reach 0 and is empty, so you cannot at the start of the round draw any more cards to your hand. If that would be the case, then the discard pile would be shuffled back into your deck. Your discard pile then would become your deck one more time. That is very important. As let's say we play Kayron and his damage depends on how many cards are in the discard pile. If now your discard pile would be shuffled back and become your deck again, so you can draw cards again, then his damage would of course drastically decrease. That's why you have to pay close attention to this deck discard pile mechanic and how everything works there. Alright, now let's go back and take a look at our hand again. At the cards, right? Aka abilities. You will see, if you pay close attention, you will see that the card in the very middle, called High Power Scope, has a little sparkly attached to it in its upper left corner. And what this shows you is this little sparkly there on the top left side. That indicates that this card can unlock his epiphanies. You can see this here. There are 5 upgrades in total, and you will be hit with a random choice in fact of 3 of those. So if you click on one of those cards with this sparkly attached to it, you can upgrade this card like however you would choose to. You get multiple different choices, and not every choice will be equal, right? It will also depend on what characters you pair your main DPS with, like etc, etc. You get the point, right? Note that not every single card of every single character in the game has like epiphanies. There are only specific cards that have epiphanies. And yeah, they are very, very different. They can change the entire character and the entire team synergy. So yeah, choosing the correct epiphany based on what character, what skill, and what team you play will drastically change, of course. You can see this right here. Take a look at this example. You can either gain a shield, you can gain 3 counter for 1 turn, and then yeah, you apply this counter to all enemies, right? Or something completely different says that at the start of the turn you gain crystallization, like +2 counter applied to all enemies. You like what this does, it doesn't matter, right? The point that I'm trying to get across here is that these upgrade like vastly change like pretty much your entire character and the synergy around it and everything, right? So yeah, we will of course dedicate videos to this. We make character guides, team guides, everything will be on my channel. So if you don't want to miss the action, please leave a follow on this channel. Here I want to show you the example of all 5 possible epiphanies, right? You have 5 like the cards that have this epiphany attached to them. They have 5 different versions of it, and you will be hit with a random selection of 3 to be able to choose your upgrade. There is also one special thing. There is one more epiphany per card, and that is like the ultimate secret shiny version, right? This is supposed to be the best epiphany of them all, but you will see this very, very rarely. You will mostly be hit with a choice of those 5 epiphanies right there. Okay, back to the main screen. Now put your eyes onto the left hand side one more time. There you can see the EP2 and our 3 characters are portrayed. Let's take a closer look at what this is all about. Here we have a closer look. So these EP, you will fill them up by just simply battling and playing the game. It's like an ultimate meter, or like, you know, look at it like this. You play the game and you will fill up this meter, and once you have filled it up enough, you can see that there are multiple different abilities. One of our abilities costs 2, there's a cost 3 and a cost 6, you know. So yeah, some of these so-called ultimate attacks, let me call them like that, cost like different EP based on what they actually do. Those are all very, very powerful abilities though, and each character has one of those, or three different types of attacks for each character. Now the special thing about this is that in Chaos Zero Nightmare you have assist characters. Look at them like weapons, and each and every one of those assist characters, those weapons, they also have 3 different types of those EP abilities, those ultimate abilities, what I would call them. And in order for you, if like let's say if you want to use an EP attack from your character, you cannot do that. You have to first use one of those ultimate abilities with your assist character before you gain access to the ultimate ability with your character. So what this will come down to in the end, what this will lead to is that some characters, they want to have a certain like partner attached to them to be able to use their ultimate ability, and some characters don't want to have any partner attached to them, so they can use their ultimate ability right out of the gate and quicker, right? So yeah, that's it. That's about it when it comes to these EP ultimate abilities for now. Let's move on to something else. Now, at the very right hand side of your screen, below the discard pile, there is a little hourglass. Let me show you this. This one right here is what I'm talking about. And this one can be activated, I think, 3 times per day. This might be changed. You might only be able to activate this once, or you can activate it 5 times per day, right? I think in the playtest you can activate this one 3 times per day. And this will give you access to 3 different super strong abilities. You can choose then one out of those, right? Those are like even more power. This is like those are the most powerful spells in the game. They give you crazy buffs or apply crazy debuffs, you know what I mean? They give you something of your choosing that is like absolutely overpowered. Look at it, it is basically a thing of, if you can use it 3 times when the game is actually released, right? It is pretty much like, yeah, you have 3 free wins. If there would be a stage that you would like so desperately beat, but you just can't do it, right? Use one of these abilities and you will like most likely beat the stage then and there. So yeah, 3 or like more or less free wins every single day is what this basically boils down to. Okay, now let's take a closer look at our enemies. You can see a number attached to those enemies. This one right here, the number 9. Every enemy will always have a number like this attached to it. And what this number means is that after you yourself has taken 9 actions, whatever this might be, playing cards or like whatever you do, right? Everything that you do counts as an action. After you have taken 9 actions, the enemy will perform an attack. You can see what attack that will be, or perform an action, I should say. And what this action will be, there is an indicator below the number. You can see this like double crossing sword under the number. This indicates in our example right here that he will do a powerful attack. There are other indicators, right? Like for example, like for example in this picture right here, you can see just one sword below the number, and that indicates that it will be a not so powerful attack. But the double crossed sword is a powerful attack. Then yeah, there are other indicators that tell you, hey, after a certain amount of action that you take, he will buff his allies, he will inflict a debuff onto you, he will inflict a curse onto you, you know, etc. Then we have a bar, this one right here, attached to the enemy under their HP bar. This is a gauge that you can lower by dealing damage to the boss, and once this entire gauge would be depleted, the opponent would be stunned and they would take less damage. You can time this correctly to prevent like their usage of an ultimate, right? If they would be about to use an ultimate but you stun them, then they can't use that ultimate and you would delay them drastically, right? It's a little bit of strategic play there, but nothing too crazy. Point is, you stun them, you get an AP back, you deal more damage to them, and yeah, etc., right? That is of course what you aim for to do, and you can do this easier by looking at this symbol right here. This indicates what your enemy is weak to. Now Let me show you something first. This window right here is what I want to show you. Those things are called attributes. You can call them elements or factions, right? In Chaos Zero Nightmare, we call those attributes. There are 5 different attributes in this game. You can see them here on the right hand side of your screen. We have passion, void, instinct, order, and justice. And in Chaos Zero Nightmare, it is not like red beats green, and then green beats blue, blue beats red, right? It's not like this. It simply indicates what attribute your character is, of course, and you want the correct attribute on your character to gain an advantage over your opponent. You can see in this picture right here, this specific enemy right there would be weak to the attribute passion. So you want to bring characters against this boss with the attribute passion to gain an advantage and to deplete the gouge below his HP bar faster, to stun him, to deal more damage, to gain more AP, right? This will be a pretty big part when it comes to playing the game correctly. But it is not like when you play, let's say, a character from the attribute passion, that your opponents also have an attribute attached to them, so you have to watch out for your character's weakness or something like that. No, weaknesses, they don't exist when it comes to your own characters. Only your opponents have the weakness, and you have to bring you want to bring the correct attribute to be more efficient against this very opponent. That's all about there is to it. And such as your characters, your team, you have buffs and debuffs. You can see all the debuffs attached to this opponent right here. Some opponent, they will buff themselves. You can then click on the symbol of that buff or debuff for that matter to check what exactly this buff or debuff is about. Of course, sometimes enemies will have certain buffs that you will probably want to get rid of those buffs if they are too strong or stuff. We will figure things out when the game actually releases and see how much there is actually to this buff and debuff system. Last but not least, we have different kinds of abilities of cards, of course. You can see this here. We have skill, we have an upgrade card, we have attack cards, right? And this is pretty self-explanatory. An attack card will deal damage. A skill card is utility, like healing or shielding, buffs, etc. Then the upgrade cards are cards that you use once, and whatever the effect of this upgrade card would last for the entirety of the whole battle. And that's pretty much about it. There is this purple hat, let me call it like that, at the top right corner of your screen. This just indicates that you play the roguelike mode in a harder difficulty. And that's pretty much about it. We have now covered and talked about this entire screen, and that's enough for this video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. If you like Chaos Zero Nightmare content in general and you want to see more from me, I will have a daily upload schedule, so if you would be kind enough to leave a follow on my channel, I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, don't forget to join the Discord server, link in the description down below. Peace and love.